Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for joining us for another episode of Retro Reviews. Today, we're going to talk about two of the greatest action sci-fi films of all time, Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Here's a quick plot synopsis on Terminator.
A cyborg from the year 2029 is sent back in time to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor, a seemingly ordinary young woman. Also tracking Sarah is Kyle Reese, a human soldier from the future that has sworn to protect her. Together they must survive and defeat the Terminator before he can destroy the future of the human resistance, which lies in John Connor, Sarah's unborn son.
Alright, so we're going to give you the good, we're going to give you the bad, and we're going to give you the badass. Alright, so first up, the good.
Okay, so this movie does a really good job in taking what could have been a disastrous B-movie, much like the movie Predator, in the hands of somebody less competent, didn't care too much. It could have been a disastrous, just run-of-the-mill B-movie that, you know, it just flew by the wayside. Nobody would have even noticed it. But because of James Cameron's direction and vision and know-how, it ended up being something much more special, much more memorable. Sarah Connor's character arc is particularly well told in that she starts off as this run-of-the-mill, everyday girl. She's a waitress. Her age is debatable. The original script, she was supposed to be 19, but obviously Linda Hamilton was not 19 when this was filmed. I believe she was around 28. But you can kind of, split the difference, and you could argue maybe she was 23, something like that. She could easily have passed for a 23-year-old. I particularly enjoy that aspect of her arc because even though she's not the Sarah Connor that we know in the second film, which we will get to that, not as dramatic, what we do get is this, she's not the same person by the end of the film that she was when we met her at the beginning. And I thought it was very well done, very convincing.
Move it, soldier! Move it, get up!
On your feet!
On your feet!
I love the ending of this film where she's making the tape for her son, and she's clearly this different person, and you have this sense that she knows that there's more to come, and the future for her is uncertain, and you feel that as she's driving away into the desert after the final scene with her dialogue.
And now for the bad?
Not really a lot. Not really, in my opinion, not really a lot of bad there. I personally don't consider this a bad thing, but there are a lot of people out there that will simply dismiss the movie for its slightly dated effects.
Today's generation will.
This is 1984. There was no CG. There was practical effects, and there was stop motion animation. And where those of us who survived the 80s and live to tell about it, we can take it and there are some images in that film. Stop motion animation is a bit clunky, and it's an older form of special effects. But there you get a little creeped out. There's a scene towards the end of the film, kind of the climax, where the full-size stop motion, but scaled into the film, Terminator is limping very clumsily towards the main characters, and it's a little goofy looking, but it's actually kind of creepy at the same time. And of course, with the practical effects.
Sorry about that.
The practical effects by Stan Winston, early 1984, but Stan Winston is you can't beat Stan Winston.
Oh yeah, I mean, a few shots could be considered dated for today's audience, like I was saying, but still, for that time, that was top notch. Now, time for the badass.
Some movies can only be as good as their villain, and this movie had the perfect villain. I believe Lance Henriksen at one point was actually slated to be the Terminator, but
Lance is a good character actor. He's played great villain roles.
He's a fantastic character actor.
Not for imposing
when it
figure.
comes to a physically imposing character, you just couldn't beat Arnold Schwarzenegger. Cameron played up to his strengths and weaknesses as an actor. Mm-hmm. Barely any dialogue. He maybe had 3 lines in the movie, possibly, maybe. I'll be back. Give me your clothes, your boots,
and your motorcycle.
But yeah, physically imposing. very good robotic, a lot of this going on, and by giving him minimal dialogue and relying more on telling what his actions were by his robotic movements, you really believed that he was this killing machine. And for instance, in the police precinct shootout, you totally bought that there at any given time, Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor were in all the danger in the world. You totally believed that he could mow down these cops in their own precinct. They didn't stand a chance, and you bought it, hook, line, and
Which
sinker.
is the most awesome, badass part in the movie. Cops, all these cops versus just a Terminator. It's just a huge blast fest. It's insane. It's awesome. It's badass. It's my favorite part of the movie. Sorry.
I couldn't tell.
I kind of lost it there. Sorry.
Sorry.
So overall, an amazing, awesome, very influential film. Terminator is definitely a classic, and we give it 4.9 out of 5 Ninja Stars. All right, now it's time for the one movie that made me hate my parents. Okay, now I love my parents. All right, shut up. You know what I mean? When you're young and you're a kid, and you're just like, all my friends went out to go see Terminator. They're talking about it, but no, I can't watch R-rated movies. All right, so all my friends are talking about it, like la la la, whatever. You know, as if I was gonna go watch it later. Spoilers for kids, right? But just finally, when I was old enough to, I won't tell you the age. I finally saw the movie. Woo! Blown away. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is just amazing, and we're gonna get into that. Here's a quick plot synopsis. Almost 10 years have passed since the first cyborg called the Terminator tried to kill Sarah Connor and her unborn son John. However, a cyborg identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor must now protect her and her son from a more advanced cyborg made out of liquid metal called the T-1000.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So, I, like you, did not get to see this in the theaters. But, in my defense, I had never seen the first one. And I was 10 years old when the second one came out. I ain't afraid to date myself. I done it. I don't care. Anyway, so yeah, I believe I saw it on VHS and full screen VHS. And yeah,
all we had.
You know, those of you who have grown up in the age of HD TV and Blu-rays, you don't know what archaic was until you have had to deal with the realization that your entire VHS collection is a lie. That the videos that you've loved and watched a billion times have been butchered. There were these evil words that used to appear on VHS format that said, "The following film has been modified from its original version to fit your TV." Pure evil.
Yes. Pan and scan.
Oh wow. Yeah. Anyway, so I can say that as soon as I finally saw this movie, even though I don't believe I believe I saw T2 first, and I didn't get to see the first Terminator first. I watched a lot of sequels out of order back when I was younger. I ran this soundtrack into the flipping ground. Brad Fiedel did the soundtrack, and I'm very sorry to say I'm not aware of a whole lot, if anything, of what else he's done.
Iconic soundtrack.
It's simplistic, but just fantastic. The soundtrack to the first film, we didn't really touch base on that. Not terrible. A product, much like the first Terminator film, a product of its time, completely enjoyable on its own. Did the job, but there is something eerie about the score to the second film. Ran it into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Right into the ground! So we're gonna give it the good, we're gonna give it the bad, and we're gonna give it the badass.
First up, the good.
T2 did what any good sequel should do. It just topped the first film. I know a lot of people could argue that they enjoy the first one over the second one, and to be completely honest, if it weren't for the major plot hole that we're about to discuss in T2, I would say without doubt that T2 is the better film, but honestly, I love the simplicity and the basic storytelling, just how very dark that the first film ends, but there is something about the second film that is just so epic. And so much more grand that it actually allows me to forget the plot hole of the second film, which we will get into with the bad.
And now for the bad.
Again, not really a whole lot of bad to speak of. They had top notch. The practical effects were exactly what you want, bigger, better. Early CG in the utilization of the effects for the T-1000 that we mentioned. But there is a glaring plot hole that everybody who's ever enjoyed the film knows about, and the plot hole is the whole intention of the film was to stop Judgment Day. They thought they had stopped Judgment Day when they destroyed the microchip of the original Terminator, the arm of the original Terminator, the T-1000, and then the whole purpose of destroying Arnold in this film was to destroy his processing unit. And so that, in theory, would have stopped Judgment Day, and Sarah Connor, by the end of the film, her monologue was even saying she's a little more hopeful. You know, the future's a little more clear for her. Not to say that, oh yeah, it's all, you know, you get this sense that, oh hey, it shouldn't happen now. Well, if Judgment Day didn't happen, and they were trying to stop Judgment Day, that's the whole purpose. You want to stop the Armageddon. You want to stop Sarah's dream, Sarah's haunting dream, in that she keeps seeing everybody just blown to pieces in this nuclear war that's about to happen, that's going to be initiated by Cyberdyne when it becomes self-aware. And if you stop Judgment Day, you effectively kill John Connor.
There'd be no John if everything was done correctly.
If there's no war, there's no resistance, there's no leader of the resistance. Kyle Reese never has any reason to get sent back in time. There's probably not even any time travel because Cyberdyne probably invented it. Possibly, who knows. And if you stop Judgment Day, well, you just effectively kill your own son, but obviously that didn't happen, even though...
They want to leave the movie on a high note.
They wanted to leave it on a high note.
Leave it open a little bit.
And so, you could argue, well, if your goal was to stop Judgment Day, which, it's debatable if they knew for a fact they had stopped it. But that's what they were trying to do. If that's what you're trying to do, well, bye-bye, John.
So there's that little plot hole, but we're being really picky here, guys. Like, really, really picky. The only other thing that could be a negative is Edward Furlong's acting. A little child actor. He was young.
It was his first role.
It was his first role. I mean, he's okay. He's good for I think he was good for the role. But sometimes, watching it again, his acting is a little annoying, Easy money. I mean, he's just really annoying.
Clearly about to hit puberty. Several times he screamed and pitched up a couple of octaves there. But that's not his fault. But,
But that's it.
Actors they're hard. Good child actors are very difficult to come by.
And now for the badass. This movie's awesome! This movie's awesome! You got trucks, crashing off the bridge, running behind John on the bike, and you got Arnold coming across, and he flips the rifle and shoots it, and then he, like John Wayne from True Grit, he'll flip it, and then you got T-1000, and he comes out, and he's like, his cool special effects and graphics and everything. Hey, where are you going? Where are you going? Anyway, and then you got both of them are brawling. They're beating each other up. He shoots Arnold through all this stuff. And then Arnold shoots back and his head splits open and then it forms back up. And then he's running. He's doing the T-1000 running. And then he's going after them. And then he flies something. And then it was great. There a lot of badassity exists in this film. Would you like to take over?
Thanks. Sarah fucking Connor. Holy shit. Sarah Connor's evolution, and I unfortunately I have to chalk this up to James Cameron, because similar to Ellen Ripley, from the transition from the first Alien film to Aliens, you are very hard pressed to find the evolution of a, at one point, damsel in distress to a legitimate, believable, badass, psychopathic motherfucker. Okay, Sarah Connor's transition was actually, scratch that. Linda Hamilton's transition was inspiring.
Yep.
You only have to look at her in the first film, from her hair to her body type, very normal. You just gotta look at her physique in the second film. That crazy bitch was doing pull-ups. She was cut. I mean, she went hardcore in this movie. She trained her ass off and portrayed a very believable, not only clearly motivated character in that she wants to protect her son, because protecting her son protects the future of mankind. But you really believe how tortured she is. And when she's in the psych ward, you believe she has gone off her rocker. You 100% believe that, yeah, she's gone off her nut. And when she busts out, you believe that she probably wouldn't have needed all that much help from the Terminator and John when she busted out. And if she had gotten caught, she just would have done it again. Amazing transformation. All the kudos in the world to Linda Hamilton for that. And good job, Cameron. You know, I don't care for your films now. I'm so saddened that I will never have a good James Cameron film that I can latch onto. I will never have another Aliens or Terminator 2 or even True Lies.
Yeah.
I will never have another James Cameron film that I can actually say I love this film. This film to me is a masterpiece. But damn it, I loved your stuff back in the day, and you did a fantastic job with two of my favorite leading female characters.
Alright guys, so our final review of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. We give it a 5 out of 5 ninja stars. Alright guys, that's it for today on Retro Reviews. Tune in next time for our next review of Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation reviews coming up. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.